He saved his daughters from hell. But now his brother is captured, his enemies want blood, and the woman he loves is begging him to disappear forever. Dante Kwan has 72 hours to make an impossible choice. Surrender and die, or fight and risk losing everyone. This is part 3, the final battle, and only one side walks away alive. Let's finish this. Dante stood in the safe house's operations room, surrounded by maps, weapons, and the faces of men who'd followed him into hell before. Marco, his underboss, loyal to the end. 6 of his best soldiers, veterans, killers when necessary. And on the video screen, Victoria, calling from Seoul, her expression unreadable. "You started a war," she said without preamble. "They started it when they took my family. Your family." Her voice dripped with venom. "The secret you kept from me for 3 years. The weakness you swore didn't exist. I never swore that. You married me, Dante. That was the deal. Your empire for their safety. And now you've broken everything by exposing them. Every rival family knows about the translator and her children now. They know you have a weakness, and they'll exploit it until you're dead. Then I'll make sure I'm not the one who dies." Victoria leaned forward, her eyes cold. "The Chen family is withdrawing support. My father says you're a liability, unstable, compromised. They're giving you 48 hours to return to Seoul and fix this, or they're cutting ties completely." "Good. I don't need them." "You need someone. The Serpent Clan has your brother. They've put a bounty on your head, $5 million. Every mercenary, every desperate gangster, every 2-bit criminal in Busan is hunting you right now. You can't fight them all. Watch me." Marco cleared his throat. "Boss, she's not wrong. We've got maybe 20 men we can trust completely. The Serpent Clan has over 100, plus whatever reinforcements the bounty brings. Then we don't fight fair." Dante turned to the maps spread across the table. "The Serpent Clan's headquarters, the fish factory. That's where they're holding my brother?" "Intel confirms it," Marco said. "But it's a fortress. After your rescue operation yesterday, they've tripled security, guards on every entrance, snipers on the roof. No way in without a full-scale assault. So we give them one." Everyone in the room went quiet. Victoria's voice came through the speaker, sharp with disbelief. "You're insane. A direct assault on a fortified position with 100 armed men? That's suicide." "No, it's a distraction." Dante's finger traced a line on the map. "We hit them from the front. Loud, aggressive. Make them think we're trying to storm the building, while they're focused on the main force. You go in the back," Marco finished, understanding dawning. "Like yesterday. Exactly like yesterday. Only this time I'm not rescuing hostages. I'm ending this." "By ending, you mean?" "I mean the Serpent Clan leadership. All of them. In one room, one strike." His eyes were cold. "We cut off the head, the body dies." One of his soldiers spoke up. "Boss, even if we get in, getting out alive is optional." Dante's voice was steel. "I'm not asking anyone to follow me on this. It's a suicide mission. I know that. But my brother is in there, and I'm bringing him out. Anyone who wants to leave, do it now. No judgment." Nobody moved. Marco smiled grimly. "We've followed you this far. Might as well see it through." The others nodded. Dante felt something tighten in his chest. Loyalty. Brotherhood. The kind of bonds his father said only the organization could provide. Maybe the old bastard was right about one thing. "We move at dawn," Dante said. "Get some rest. Tomorrow, we end this war." The soldiers filed out, leaving Dante alone with Victoria's image on the screen. "You're really doing this," she said quietly. "Yes, you'll die." "Probably. And the translator? The children? What happens to them when you're dead and the Serpent Clan comes for revenge?" That stopped him. Because she was right. Even if he killed the leadership, the organization would survive. And they'd come for Amara and the girls eventually. Unless... "What if I gave you something?" Dante said slowly. What could you possibly give me that I want? The Serpent Clan's entire operation. Territory, assets, everything. You wanted to consolidate Seoul's underground? Take Busan too. Expand the Chen Empire, all of it. In exchange for one thing. Victoria's eyes narrowed. What thing? Protection. For Amara Baptiste and her 3 daughters. Permanent. Ironclad. They become untouchable. Any family that threatens them answers to the Chens. They live quiet lives, safe, anonymous. And you become the most powerful family in Korea. Silence. Then, you'd give me an entire city to protect your bastard children? Yes. Why should I believe you'd honor this deal? Because I'll be dead. This isn't a negotiation. It's a will. My final act. I give you Busan. You give them safety. That's the deal. Victoria was quiet for a long moment, her calculating mind working through angles. If I agree, she said finally, you can never contact them again. Ever. They have to believe you're dead. Really dead. No secret messages, no surveillance, nothing. You become a ghost. I can live with that. No, Dante, you can't. That's the point. You die tomorrow, one way or another. Either in that factory, or you disappear so completely that Dante Kwon ceases to exist. Those are the only options that keep them safe. He knew she was right. The only way to truly protect his daughters was to die. Actually, or figuratively. Either way, he'd never see them again. Do we have a deal? He asked. Victoria stared at him for a long moment, then nodded once. We have a deal. I'll draw up the documents. Marco can witness. But Dante, this is truly goodbye. You understand that? I understand. And you're okay with it? Never seeing them grow up? Never knowing who they become? His throat tightened. No, but I'll live with it, because they'll be safe. Will you tell her, the translator? No, she already asked me to disappear. This just makes it permanent. Victoria's expression softened, just slightly. For what it's worth, I think you would have been a good father, if circumstances were different. But they're not. No, they're not. The screen went dark. Dante sat alone in the operations room, staring at the maps, at the building where his brother was held, at the future he was about to burn to ash. Tomorrow he'd storm a fortress. Tomorrow he'd save his brother or die trying. Tomorrow Dante Kwon would cease to exist. And maybe, finally, the people he loved could live in peace. Dawn broke gray and cold over Busan. Dante stood on the safe house balcony, watching the city wake up, knowing this might be the last sunrise he'd ever see. Behind him, the door opened quietly. Amara, you're up early, she said. Couldn't sleep. She joined him at the railing, close but not touching. They stood in silence, watching the harbor lights blink out one by one as daylight spread. The girls are still asleep, Amara said finally. Zuri had nightmares, kept calling for you. His chest tightened. I'm sorry. Don't be. You saved them. You saved us. She paused. But you're leaving again, aren't you? He didn't answer. I can see it in your eyes. That look. Like you're already gone. She turned to face him. Where are you going? To get my brother. The one the Serpent Clan is holding? Yes. And then? And then, I fix this. Permanently. By fix, you mean? I mean you and the girls will be safe. Forever. No more threats. No more hiding. You can go back to Seoul, to Busan, anywhere you want. Live normal lives. The kind of lives you deserve. Amara's eyes filled with tears. And you. I won't be part of those lives. Because you'll be dead. Or close enough. She grabbed his arm, forcing him to look at her. Dante, no. There has to be another way. We can run. Really run this time. Leave Korea entirely. Start over somewhere they'll never find us. They'll always find us. As long as I'm alive. As long as I'm connected to you, your targets. The only way to truly protect you is to sever that connection. Permanently. by dying, if necessary. And you think that's what the girls need? To lose their father again? This time forever? They'll survive. You'll help them. Tell them I loved them. Tell them I did this to keep them safe. Maybe when they're older, they'll understand. They'll hate you. Better than burying them. Amara was crying openly now. I can't lose you again. Not like this. You already lost me 3 years ago. This is just making it official. No. 3 years ago, you walked away, but you were still alive. Still watching. Still protecting us from the shadows. This is different. This is final. I know. She pressed her face against his chest, her shoulders shaking. I love you. I never stopped. And I hate that I love you because it makes this hurt so much worse. Dante's arms came around her automatically, holding her like he'd never let go, even though he knew he'd have to. I love you too, he whispered into her hair. I've loved you since the day we met, and I'll love you until the day I die, which might be today, but at least I'll die knowing you're safe. They stood like that for a long time, holding each other as the sun climbed higher, burning away the darkness. Finally, Amara pulled back. Can you do something for me? She asked. Anything. Say goodbye to them, properly. Not like last time when you just disappeared. Give them that, at least. Amara, please. They deserve to hear it from you. He wanted to refuse, wanted to spare himself and them the pain of goodbye. But she was right. They deserved better than a ghost. 20 minutes later, Dante sat on the edge of the massive bed where all 3 girls were just waking up. Mira sat up first, rubbing her eyes. Daddy? Hey, baby girl. Are we going home today? You are. Soon. Sage crawled into his lap, still half asleep. Zuri wrapped her arms around his neck from behind. His 3 daughters. Perfect. Innocent. Alive because of choices he'd made, and was about to make again. I need to tell you something, he said quietly. Something important. Mira's eyes sharpened. Even at 8, she was too perceptive. You're leaving. Yes. Why? Zuri's voice was small. Don't you love us? I love you more than anything in the world. That's why I have to go. That doesn't make sense, Sage said, her logical mind struggling with the contradiction. I know it doesn't. But sometimes the people who love you have to leave to keep you safe. Like how mom sends you to school even though she misses you. Or how doctors give you shots even though it hurts. It's hard, but it's for your protection. But you just found us, Mira protested. We just got to know you. You can't leave again. I have to. There are bad people who want to hurt me. And if I stay close to you, they'll hurt you to get to me. I can't let that happen. Tears streamed down Zuri's face. Can't we just hide, like yesterday? No, Angel. Hiding only works for a little while. Eventually they find you. The only way to keep you really safe is for me to go far away. So far that they forget about you. So you can be normal little girls again. I don't want to be normal, Mira said fiercely. I want you. Dante's vision blurred. And I want you, all 3 of you. I want to watch you grow up. Go to school. Make friends. Have your first crushes. Graduate. Get married. Have families of your own. I want all of it. His voice cracked. But I can't have it. Because wanting it puts you in danger. So I'm choosing your safety over my happiness. And I'd make that choice every single time. Sage looked up at him with those serious eyes. Will we ever see you again? He wanted to lie. Wanted to give them hope. But they deserved the truth. No, baby. You won't. So this is really goodbye? Mira asked. Forever? Yes. All 3 girls started crying. Dante pulled them close, holding them as tight as he dared, memorizing the weight of them, the smell of their hair, the sound of their breathing. His daughters. For the last time. I need you to promise me something, he said through his own tears. Promise me you'll take care of each other, that you'll be kind and brave and strong, that you'll make the most of the life I'm giving you. We promise, Mira whispered, and promise me you won't hate me. or yourselves. This isn't your fault. None of it. You're perfect. All three of you. Never forget that." They nodded against his chest. "I love you," he said. "More than power. More than empire. More than my own life. You three are the best thing I ever made. And I'm so proud to be your father." "We love you too, Daddy," Zuri sobbed. They stayed like that until Amara gently touched his shoulder. "It's time," she said quietly. Dante kissed each girl on the forehead, Mira, Sage, Zuri, then stood. He walked to the door without looking back. Because if he looked back, he'd never leave. And they'd never be safe. In the hallway, he let himself break. Silently. Completely. Then he pulled himself together, wiped his eyes, and headed downstairs, where his men were waiting, where weapons and vehicles and a suicide mission awaited. The last act of Dante Kwan. The fish factory loomed against the morning sky like a monument to violence. Dante sat in the lead SUV, watching through binoculars as guards patrolled the perimeter. 12 visible, probably twice that many inside. Marco's voice crackled through the comm. "Team 1 in position, south entrance, ready on your signal. Team 2 ready. West side," another voice confirmed. Dante keyed his own mic. "Team 3 ready, north drainage tunnel. Remember, we go loud, we go fast, and we don't stop until the objective is secured. My brother gets out alive, that's the priority. Everything else is secondary." "Copy that, boss." He checked his weapons one final time. 2 handguns. Extra magazines, combat knife, flashbangs, everything he'd need for close quarters hell. This was it. The final mission. "All teams," he said quietly. "It's been an honor serving with you, whatever happens today. Thank you for your loyalty, your brotherhood, everything." Silence on the comms. Then Marco. "The honor was ours, boss. Let's go get your brother. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Execute." Explosions rocked the south entrance. Team 1 stormed in with overwhelming firepower, automatic weapons blazing, flashbangs lighting up the building, smoke grenades creating chaos. The Serpent Clan responded exactly as predicted. Every guard converging on the breach, leadership screaming orders, complete pandemonium. While they were distracted, Dante and 3 of his best men slipped into the north drainage tunnel. Dark, narrow, smelling of rot and salt water. Perfect. They moved fast and silent, night vision turning the blackness green. The tunnel opened into the factory basement exactly where Marco's intel said it would. Empty. For now. Dante signaled his team. Hand gestures only. No comms. Complete radio silence. Up the stairs. Carefully. Listening to the chaos above. Gunfire. Shouting. The sounds of war. Second floor. Still empty. Everyone pulled to the south side. Third floor. A guard appeared around the corner. Surprised, reaching for his radio. Dante moved like death. Knife across the throat. Silent. Efficient. The body dropped without a sound. They kept moving. Intel said the Serpent Clan kept high-value prisoners on the 4th floor. Isolated. Guarded. But most of those guards would be downstairs now, fighting Team 1. Hopefully, 4th floor landing. Dante pressed against the wall, listening. Voices. 2 guards. Outside, a reinforced door. He signaled his team. Simultaneous takedown. Quick and quiet. They moved as one. 2 suppressed shots. 2 bodies. Dante grabbed the keys from one of the dead guards, unlocked the reinforced door, and stepped inside. A hallway. More doors. Prison cells. "Check them all," he whispered to his team. "Find my brother. 90 seconds." They spread out. Dante kicked open doors one by one. Empty. Empty. Blood-stained, but empty. Then, "Boss, here." Dante ran to the last cell, and there he was. His brother. Bloodied. Beaten. Tied to a chair. But alive. "Dante?" His brother's voice was weak, disbelieving. "You came." "Of course I came, you idiot." Dante cut the ropes with quick, efficient movements. "Can you walk?" I think so. Good, because we're leaving. Now. He pulled his brother up, supporting his weight. His team formed a protective corridor around them. They made it back to the stairwell before the alarm went off. Loud. Piercing. Someone had found the dead guards. Go, go, go! Dante shouted into his comm. Package secured! All teams extract! They ran. Down the stairs. Guards appearing behind them. Bullets punching through walls. Dante returned fire without looking, his team providing covering fire as they descended. Second floor, first floor, basement, the drainage tunnel entrance right ahead. An explosion rocked the building. The tunnel collapsed in a shower of concrete and steel. Their escape route. Gone. Alternate exit! Dante barked. East loading dock! They changed direction, running through the factory's guts, his brother stumbling but keeping pace. Behind them, footsteps, shouts. The Serpent Clan converging. They burst through the loading dock door into daylight and stopped. 20 men, all armed, all aiming directly at them. And in the center, smiling like a demon, the Serpent Clan's leader, Dante Kwan, he said pleasantly. We've been expecting you. It was a trap. All of it. They'd known he was coming. Dante's mind raced. No way forward. Guards behind. 20 guns pointed at him and his team. His brother clutched his arm. I'm sorry. They made me tell them. The rescue plan. They tortured me until I gave them everything. And just like that, Dante understood. The video, the threat, the whole setup. It was never about his brother. It was about luring Dante into a kill box. And it had worked. The serpent leader raised his hand. Weapons down, or everyone dies. Starting with your brother. Dante met his team's eyes. They were ready to fight, ready to die. But his brother, beaten, tortured, barely standing, would be the first casualty. Slowly, Dante lowered his weapon. His team followed suit. Smart choice, the leader said. Now, on your knees, all of you. They knelt. Execution position. The leader walked forward, pulling out a handgun, pressing it against Dante's forehead. Any last words? Dante smiled. Just one. Duck. The leader's expression shifted to confusion. Then the building exploded. To be continued. The explosion came from everywhere and nowhere. Walls erupted outward in massive fireballs. The loading dock floor buckled and cracked. Metal beams screamed as they twisted and fell. The 20 Serpent Clan soldiers didn't even have time to scream before fire consumed them. Dante had already moved, grabbing his brother, throwing him behind a concrete barrier, his team following his lead with practiced precision. The world became heat and noise and chaos. When the initial blast cleared, the fish factory was an inferno. Half the building collapsed, bodies everywhere, survivors screaming, running, burning. The Serpent Clan leader lay 10 feet away, half his body crushed under debris, still alive but barely. Dante stood, helped his brother up, checked his team. 2 injured but mobile. Everyone else intact. What the hell was that? His brother gasped. Insurance, Dante said. Marco, report. Marco's voice crackled through the damaged comm. Charges were planted perfectly, boss. Thermal detonators in the building's support columns. I waited until you gave the signal. Duck wasn't exactly subtle. You're alive, aren't you? Fair point. Dante walked over to the Serpent Clan leader, knelt beside the dying man. You destroyed everything. The leader wheezed, blood bubbling from his lips. That was the point. Your organization, your power, your threat to my family. All of it. Ashes. Dante leaned closer. You made one mistake. You thought taking my brother would break me. Instead, it just reminded me what I'm willing to burn down to protect the people I love. The other families will come for you. Let them. I'll be ready. The leader's eyes went vacant. Dead. Dante stood, surveying the burning ruins of the Serpent Clan's headquarters. Around him, sirens wailed. Police. Fire department. Too late to matter. We need to move, Marco said, appearing through the smoke with the rest of Team 1. Authorities will be here in minutes. The other teams? Everyone made it out. Some injuries. No fatalities on our side. Miracle. Or maybe just excellent planning and a willingness to blow everything to hell. They loaded into the waiting SUVs and vanished into Busan's morning traffic before the first police car arrived. Behind them, the fish factory burned like a funeral pyre. The Serpent Clan's empire, reduced to ash in a single morning. 2 hours later, Dante sat in the safe house's medical room while a doctor patched up his brother's wounds. "You're an idiot," his brother said, wincing as the doctor cleaned a gash on his forehead. "You could have died. So could you. I'm not the one with a wife, an empire, and 3 secret daughters depending on me." Dante's expression darkened. The daughters aren't secret anymore, and the wife. That's complicated. Everything about your life is complicated. Fair. His brother grabbed his hand. "Thank you. For coming. For risking everything. I know what it cost you." "You're my brother. There was never a question." "Still, thank you." They sat in comfortable silence while the doctor finished his work. Then Marco appeared in the doorway. "Boss, Victoria's calling. She says it's urgent." Dante stepped into the hallway, took the phone. "I saw the news," Victoria said without preamble. "The fish factory. The explosion. Very subtle. I got my brother back. And started a war with every criminal organization in Korea. Congratulations. The Serpent Clan is finished. Their leadership is dead. Their territory is up for grabs. I'm offering it to you, remember? That was the deal. The deal was, you disappear after this, completely. You become a ghost. I will. When? Soon. I need to make sure my brother is safe. That Amara and the girls are settled. That... Dante. Victoria's voice softened, just slightly. You can't keep delaying. The longer you stay connected to them, the more danger they're in. You know this. She was right. Again. I know. There's a private plane waiting at Gimpo Airport, Seoul. Tomorrow at midnight. Be on it. Alone. It'll take you somewhere they'll never find you. New identity. New life. Complete severance from everything and everyone you've ever known. And if I don't get on the plane, then our deal is void, and I can't protect them. Simple as that. Dante closed his eyes. Okay. Okay, you'll be there? Yes. Good. And Dante? I actually mean this. I hope you find peace. Wherever you end up. You deserve that much. She hung up. Dante stood in the empty hallway, phone in hand, feeling the walls close in. 24 hours. That's all he had left. One more day to exist as Dante Kwan. Then he'd become nobody. Forever. That night, Dante sat with Amara on the safe house balcony one final time. The girls are asleep, she said quietly. Finally. They cried for hours after you left this morning. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. You did what you had to do. Your brother is safe. The people who threatened us are dead. You kept your promise. At what cost? The only cost that matters. Survival. She looked at him. When do you leave? Tomorrow night. Forever? Yes. Amara nodded slowly. Where will you go? I don't know. Somewhere far. Somewhere they can't find me. Will you be safe? That's the idea. She took his hand, threading her fingers through his. I hate this. I hate that loving you means losing you. I hate that our daughters will grow up without their father. I hate all of it. Me too. But I understand why. And I'm grateful. For the time we had. For what you've given us. For the sacrifice you're making. Tears slid down her cheeks. You're a good man, Dante Kwan. Despite everything. Despite the violence and the empire and the choices you've made. You're good. I'm really not. You are. Because a bad man wouldn't walk away to keep his children safe. A bad man would stay and damn the consequences. But you're choosing their lives over your happiness. That's love. Real love. The kind that costs everything. Dante pulled her close, held her against his chest, feeling her heartbeat against his. "I need you to do something for me," he whispered. "Anything. Tell them stories. About me. Not the truth. They don't need to know about the empire or the violence or any of that. But tell them their father loved them. That he was brave. That he sacrificed everything to keep them safe. Make me a hero in their memories. Even if I wasn't one in real life. You are a hero. To them. To me. Then tell them that. Please. I will. I promise." They sat like that until the sun began to rise, holding each other, memorizing the feeling, knowing it was the last time. When dawn finally broke, Amara kissed him. Soft, gentle, full of everything they'd never say. Then she stood and walked inside, without looking back, because looking back would break them both. 23 hours until the plane. Dante spent the day tying up loose ends. He signed documents transferring Serpent Clan territory to Victoria's family, established trust funds for his daughters, money they'd receive when they turned 18, enough to pay for college, start businesses, live comfortably, wrote letters he'd never send, made arrangements he hoped would never be necessary, and tried not to think about 3 little girls who wouldn't understand why Daddy was leaving again. At 6 p.m., there was a knock on his door. Mira stood there, alone, her expression serious. "Can we talk?" she asked. Dante's heart clenched. "Of course, sweetheart. Come in." She walked into his room, climbed onto the chair by the window, and stared at him with those 2 old eyes. "You're leaving tonight," she said. "Not a question. How did you know?" "I heard Mom crying, and I saw you packing." She gestured at the small bag on his bed. "You're not coming back, are you?" Lying to an 8-year-old felt wrong, but so did crushing her with the truth. "No, baby. I'm not." Mira nodded slowly, processing. "Is it because of us? Because we're too much trouble?" "God, no. Mira, listen to me." Dante knelt in front of her, taking her small hands. "You 3 are the best thing that ever happened to me. The only purely good thing in my entire life. This has nothing to do with you being trouble." "Then why?" "Because the world I live in, the work I do, it's dangerous. And the people I've hurt, the enemies I've made, they want revenge. And the easiest way to hurt me is to hurt the people I love. You, your sisters, your mom. As long as I'm in your life, you're targets. So you're leaving to protect us. Yes, that's stupid." Despite everything, Dante almost smiled. "Probably. I don't need protection. I need a dad." Her voice cracked. "We finally found you. We finally got to know you. And now you're just leaving? Forever? That's not fair." "You're right, it's not fair. None of this is fair. You deserve a father who can be there for dance recitals and parent-teacher conferences and scraped knees. Someone safe, normal, better than me. But we don't want someone better. We want you." The words destroyed him. "I want you too, baby girl. More than anything. But sometimes what we want and what's safe are 2 different things. And I'd rather you hate me and be alive than love me and be dead." Mira was quiet for a long moment, tears streaming down her face. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a piece of paper, folded many times, worn at the edges. "Sage drew this for you," she said quietly. She was too scared to give it to you herself. Dante unfolded it carefully. A child's drawing, crude but earnest. 5 stick figures holding hands, labels in careful print. Daddy, Mommy, Mira, Sage, Zuri, a family, the family they'd never be. "She drew it the day after you saved us," Mira continued. "She said it's what she wants, all of us together. Safe. Happy." Dante's vision blurred. "I can't give her that." "I know." Mira climbed off the chair, wrapped her arms around his neck. "But can you give us one thing before you go?" "Anything. Can you tuck us in tonight? All 3 of us? Like a real dad? Just once?" His throat closed. "Yes," he managed. "I can do that." At 8 p.m., Dante walked into the bedroom where all three girls were waiting in their pajamas. Zuri bounced on the bed. "Daddy's here!" Sage smiled shyly, clutching the stuffed rabbit Amara had bought her. Mira just watched him with those knowing eyes. "All right, angels," Dante said, his voice carefully steady. "Into bed. All of you." They scrambled under the covers, Mira on the left, Sage in the middle, Zuri on the right, just like they'd probably slept as babies. Dante sat on the edge of the bed, and immediately all three gravitated toward him. Zuri grabbed his hand. Sage leaned against his shoulder. Mira just watched, memorizing. "Tell us a story," Zuri said. "Please?" "What kind of story?" "A happy one, where nobody leaves and everyone stays together forever." Dante's chest ached. "Okay, let me think." He took a breath. Once upon a time, there was a man who lived in a very big, very lonely castle. He had everything: money, power, people who listened to him. But he wasn't happy, because castles are cold, and power doesn't keep you warm at night. "Was he a prince?" Sage asked. "Sort of, but not a good one. He'd made a lot of mistakes, hurt a lot of people, and he thought that's all he'd ever be. Someone cold and alone in a cold, lonely castle." "Then what happened?" Zuri breathed. "Then one day, he met a beautiful, brave woman, and she was different from everyone else. She wasn't afraid of him. She saw past the castle and the power and saw just him. A lonely man who'd forgotten how to be anything else." "Did he love her?" Mira asked quietly. "More than anything. But he was scared, because he'd spent his whole life learning that love was dangerous, that caring about people got them hurt. So even though he loved her with everything in his heart, he left, walked away, chose his lonely castle over her." "That's sad," Sage whispered. It was. The saddest thing he'd ever done. But then, years later, he discovered something miraculous. The woman he'd loved had 3 daughters, 3 perfect, brave, beautiful girls. And they were his. Part of him. The best parts. All 3 girls were wrapped, hanging on every word. And for the first time in his life, the man felt complete. Like all those years of loneliness had led to this moment. These 3 miracles. His daughters. "Did he stay with them?" Zuri asked hopefully. Dante's voice grew softer. He wanted to. More than anything in the entire world. But the man had enemies. Bad people who wanted to hurt him. And they discovered his greatest weakness. His daughters. The 3 people he loved most in the world. So the man had a choice. Stay with them and put them in constant danger. Or leave and keep them safe. What did he choose? Mira's voice was barely a whisper. He chose them. Their safety over his happiness. Their future over his present. He chose to love them so much that he'd give up everything, even being their father, just to know they'd be okay. Silence. Then Zuri. "Did the daughters understand?" "Not at first. They were young. They thought he was leaving because he didn't love them. But he did. He loved them more than castles or power or anything else. He loved them enough to become a ghost. To disappear so completely that the bad people would forget they ever existed. And then the daughters grew up. Safe. Happy. Loved by their mother and each other. They went to good schools, made friends, had adventures, lived beautiful, normal lives, everything their father wanted for them. But what about the father? Sage asked, tears in her eyes. Was he happy? Dante smiled sadly. No. He was alone again. Far away. Living under a different name in a place where nobody knew who he'd been. But every night, he looked up at the stars and knew that somewhere under the same sky, his 3 daughters were safe. And that was enough. Because their happiness mattered more than his. All 3 girls were crying now. That's the saddest story ever, Zuri sobbed. Maybe, but it's also a love story. The biggest love story of all. Because real love isn't about being together. It's about wanting what's best for the people you love, even when it breaks your heart. Mira looked at him. The father in the story. That's you, isn't it? Yes, baby, that's me. And we're the daughters. Yes. And you're leaving tonight to keep us safe. Yes. She nodded slowly, then climbed out of bed, walked to her backpack, and pulled out something small, a bracelet, made of colored string and plastic beads, the kind kindergartners make in art class. I made this for you, she said, handing it to him, so you don't forget us. Dante took it with shaking hands. Crude, simple, perfect. I could never forget you, he whispered. Not in a million years. Sage gave him a drawing, the family picture, carefully rolled and tied with ribbon. For when you miss us. Zuri just threw her arms around his neck and held on like she'd never let go. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, Angel. All of you. Always. He tucked them in, one by one, kissed their foreheads, whispered goodnight, and walked out of the room for the last time. In the hallway, Amara was waiting, tears streaming down her face. That was beautiful, she whispered. It was torture. I know, but they'll remember it, forever. The story of the father who loved them enough to leave. Dante nodded, unable to speak. Go, Amara said gently, before you change your mind, before this gets harder. He wanted to kiss her goodbye, wanted to hold her one more time, but he'd already used up all his goodbyes. So he just looked at her, really looked, memorizing every detail, and walked away. Down the stairs, out the door, into the waiting car, and drove toward the airport without looking back. Because looking back would kill him. Gimpo Airport at 11:45 p.m., 15 minutes until the plane. Dante sat in the private terminal, his small bag beside him, Mira's bracelet on his wrist, Sage's drawing in his pocket. The last pieces of Dante Kwan. In 15 minutes he'd board a plane to nowhere, become nobody, live the rest of his life as a ghost. It was the right choice. The only choice. So why did it feel like dying? Mr. Kwan? He looked up. A flight attendant, young, professional. We're ready for boarding whenever you are. Thank you, I'll be there in a moment. She nodded and left. Dante stood, grabbed his bag. This was it. The end of everything. He was halfway to the gate when his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Hello? Dante Kwan? A woman's voice, older, authoritative. This is Director Chen, Victoria's mother. His blood ran cold. What do you want? To offer you something, an alternative to disappearing. There is no alternative. That was the deal. Deals can be renegotiated, especially when new information comes to light. What information? My daughter is many things, ambitious, ruthless, strategic, but she's also been lying to me. About you. About your family situation. About the real reason she wanted you gone. Dante's grip tightened on the phone. I don't understand. Victoria didn't want you to disappear to protect your daughters. She wanted you gone because you represent everything she can't control. A man who'd choose love over power. Who'd sacrifice an empire for 3 children. That terrifies her. Because it means her hold over you was always conditional. Always second to something more important. So I'm offering you a third option. You return to Seoul. You continue running the combined territory, yours and the Serpent Clan's. You make our family the most powerful in Korea. But, she paused, you also get to see your daughters, not often. Maybe a few times a year. Supervised, carefully managed, but real, present, their father. Dante's heart stopped. That's impossible. The risk is manageable. We're not talking about public acknowledgement. We're talking about secret visits, birthdays, special occasions, moments, memories, the chance to watch them grow up, even from a distance. Why would you offer this? Because I believe in family, real family, not the business arrangements my daughter prefers. And because, her voice softened, I lost my son when he was young, car accident. I'd give anything for one more moment with him, one more conversation, One more chance to tell him I loved him. You have that chance, Dante. Don't throw it away because you think sacrifice is the only form of love. Victoria will never agree to this. Victoria doesn't get a vote. I run the Chen family, not her. And I'm telling you, take the deal. Be smart, be careful, but be their father. Dante stood frozen, his mind racing. Everything he'd planned, everything he'd sacrificed, the goodbye, the pain, the severance, all of it could be undone. He could see them again, not every day, not the way he wanted, but real, present, there. I need time to think. You have 2 minutes. The plane leaves in 13. Choose. 2 minutes to decide the rest of his life. Stay a ghost, safe, separate, noble, or risk everything for moments, memories, chances. Dante closed his eyes. Saw 3 little girls tucked into bed. Heard Zuri say, "I love you, Daddy." Felt Mira's bracelet on his wrist. Saw Sage's drawing of a family that could never be. Except, maybe it could. Not the way he'd imagined. Not perfect or safe or normal, but real. "I accept," he said. "Wise choice. I'll have my lawyers draw up the arrangements. You'll receive instructions within 24 hours. Welcome back, Mr. Kwan." She hung up. Dante stood in the empty terminal, phone in hand, his small bag at his feet. The plane was leaving. Without him. He turned and walked back through the airport, out into the Seoul night, and got in his car. Not driving to nowhere. Driving home. To an empire he'd rule with wisdom instead of fear. To a wife he'd respect even if he'd never love. To a life that was messy and complicated and imperfect. But also, secretly, carefully, preciously, to 3 daughters who'd grow up knowing their father loved them, even if the world never knew they existed. 3 years later, Mira stood in her middle school classroom, accepting an award for top academic achievement. In the audience, tucked in the back row wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap, Dante watched with tears in his eyes. Amara sat beside him, their hands carefully apart, but hearts beating in sync. "She's brilliant," Dante whispered. "She gets it from you. And her courage from you." On stage, Mira scanned the crowd, found him, and smiled. Small. Secret. Just for him. He smiled back. Later, at Sage's art exhibition, Dante stood in front of her painting, a landscape of the Han River at sunset, executed with skill far beyond her 11 years. "It's beautiful," he told her quietly. "I painted it from memory," Sage said. "From that day, when we first met you, by the river. I remember. Do you still go there, to the bench?" "Sometimes, when I miss you. We miss you too." He squeezed her hand, brief, careful, enough. And at Zuri's soccer game, Dante stood on the sidelines with the other parents, cheering as his youngest daughter scored the winning goal. She ran straight to the sidelines, threw her arms around Amara, then looked at him. "Did you see, Daddy? Did you see?" "I saw, Angel. You were amazing. Will you come to my next game? If I can. I promise I'll try." "Okay." She bounced off to celebrate with her team. Dante watched her go, his heart impossibly full. This wasn't the fairy tale. He didn't get to live with them. Didn't get to be there every day. Didn't get the white picket fence and the normal life. But he got moments, birthdays, holidays, school events, quiet visits when the world wasn't watching. He got to watch them grow, got to be proud of them, got to love them. And somehow, impossibly miraculously, that was enough. 15 years later, Dante stood in the audience at Seoul National University, watching Mira give the valedictorian speech, 23 years old, brilliant, confident, everything he'd hoped she'd become. "My mother taught me that strength comes from love," Mira said from the podium. "And my father taught me that sometimes love means sacrifice. Both lessons shaped who I am today. So to my family, thank you. For everything." She looked directly at him. And Dante, the crime lord, the empire builder, the man who'd walked through hell and back, cried like a baby, Later, at the reception, all 3 daughters found him. Mira, Sage, Zuri, women now, strong, independent, beautiful. "We have something for you," Sage said, handing him an envelope. Inside, 3 letters, one from each daughter. "Dad, we know you think we don't understand, that we're too young to grasp why you had to stay away, why you couldn't be a normal father. But we do understand. We've always understood. You chose our safety over your happiness. You built an empire to protect us. You became someone you hated so we could be someone we loved. That's not failure. That's heroism. We don't need a fairy tale father. We need you, exactly as you are. Scars and empire and impossible choices included. We love you. Always have. Always will." Your daughters Mira, Sage, and Zuri Dante read it 3 times, tears streaming down his face. "We wrote it together," Zuri said, "so you'd know." "Know what?" "That you didn't fail us. You saved us. In every way that matters." Amara appeared beside him, older now but still beautiful, still the woman who'd changed everything. "They're right, you know," she said quietly. "You gave us the greatest gift. Not a perfect life, but a safe one, a real one, and you were always there. Even when you couldn't be seen. We felt you. Always." Dante looked at his family, his daughters, his Amara, the life he'd fought so hard to protect, and realized something profound. Fairy tales don't have to be perfect. They just have to be true. And this, messy and complicated and hard-won, this was his fairy tale. The story of a monster who learned to love, a crime lord who became a father, a man who chose sacrifice over selfishness, and in the end, got his miracle anyway. Not the one he expected, but the one he needed. "I love you," he whispered to all of them. "More than empires, more than power, more than life itself." "We know, Dad," Mira said, wrapping her arms around him. "We've always known." And surrounded by his daughters, watched over by the woman he'd loved for 23 years, Dante Kwan finally understood. He hadn't lost anything. He'd gained everything. The end. This is the ending nobody saw coming. A crime lord who got his family and his empire, but paid for it in secrets and sacrifice. A fairy tale built on hard choices and stolen moments. A love story that defied every rule. Did this ending break your heart and put it back together? Want to see a different version of this story? Maybe one where Dante walks away completely? Or where he chooses love over power from the beginning? Drop your suggestions in the comments. I'm listening to every request. And if you want to see your idea brought to life, hit that subscribe button. Let's create magic together. Thank you for being on this journey.